Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and here's the headline from You Today. Lawyer James Filan explains why we should not expect Ripple/SEC settlement. Now, I'm sure that most of you to this point are aware of Attorney Jeremy Hogan's perspective on this. He thinks more likely than not, we're imminently, effectively, going to be seeing settlement between the SEC and Ripple for a number of reasons that he articulated. In fact, here's a headline from Finance Feeds. SEC versus Ripple, strange things hint that settlement is in the works. So I'll do a little bit of a refresher on that, but I want to share with you the thoughts from James Filan because I love diversity of thought. And he's a pro-XRP attorney. He's been spending a good bit of his time answering people's questions for just about the entirety of the duration of this lawsuit, the SEC going after Ripple. And he's taken the time to publicly share legal documents that, in the case of the SEC versus Ripple, both from the side of the SEC and Ripple, it's time-consuming. He's taken time to convert them to PDF and share them, and so I'm nothing but appreciative of him. So just to be clear, if any of you are not happy with him, it's one of those situations where you should not be upset from that it was somebody that's sharing their honest opinion. I'm a fan of diversity of thought, and really, at this point, he's just the messenger. It's his own opinion, but still, I'm just saying, So I don't think anybody's going to get angry. I think at this point, everybody really appreciates him, but just in case, I just want to be clear, my opinion is that it wouldn't make sense to be upset with him for sharing his opinion, which isn't as euphoric as the idea of imminent settlement. So I don't pretend to know who's right. I just like sharing opinions from different people, and let's see what the heck happens. But I also want to be clear, I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I am nothing more than an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos just as a fun hobby. And so into this piece real quick. I'll be brief with this one as much as I can anyway. From Finance Feeds. SEC vs. Ripple, strange things hint that settlement is in the works. The Securities and Exchange Commission filed a complaint against Ripple Labs and individual defendants Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson for the sale of unregistered securities, implicitly pointing to XRP as a security. And the industry reacted by delisting XRP from exchanges in the United States, and partnerships with Ripple soon crumbled, including MoneyGram, which is now apparently being approached by ex-Ripple co-founder Jed McCaleb and its new blockchain competitor Stellar. Talk of an almost inevitable settlement with the SEC soon emerged, with high-profile figures within the XRP community explaining how such a deal would look. In late June, and judging by the state of affairs, Attorney Jeremy Hogan said he didn't see the case being decided at summary judgment until early 2022, maybe January. As to a potential settlement that is, quote, likely to be after at least the close of fact discovery, and that is now early September, and even more likely to be after October 16th, end quote. That overview might have changed dramatically after a series of strange things happening since June, culminating in the silence from Ripple after the scheduled deposition of William Hinman on July 27th, which transcript cannot be accessed. Attorney Jeremy Hogan suspects the sworn testimony never took place, and here's a quote. First, I don't think the deposition of Director Hinman took place this last Monday. If it had, where is the transcript to be filed under seal for an in-camera review by the judge, and where is the motion to compel Hinman to answer certain questions? End quote. Strange things first occurred as the judge granted the defendant's motion in regard to discovery related to Bitcoin and Ether, which are relevant to the Howey test and the fair notice defense, but the SEC did not hand over the documents even despite risking monetary sanctions from the courts. And in June 14th, the agency promised, this is a quote, promised to substantially complete its production of the internal documents before July 2nd, but on the court hearing of July 15th, Ripple counsel complained to the judge the internal documents never arrived. Then the judge told the counsel to file a brief the next week, but Ripple never did. So Attorney Jeremy Hogan also noticed how the SEC was desperate for the deposition not to go forward, and how quickly the SEC and Ripple reached an agreement regarding the terms of the testimony. Really? The Grand Canyon was crossed just like that? Said Jeremy Hogan. The cherry on top was two SEC commissioners' public statement last week admitting to lack of clarity within the digital ecosystem. And here's a quote. Something I've never seen in litigation before. Two commissioners of the SEC came out arguing, essentially, that Ripple's fair notice defense was valid. That market participants do not have fair notice in the crypto space. Yeah, and so it's fascinating. And the last part that would, like, actually to me, perhaps was even more interesting in those other facts, is when he cited that out of Ripple's 23 lawyers, did it really take, more than 9 days to draft a 3-page reply brief to the last court filing from the SEC? Does it really take? Because that's how long it's been since we've heard from Ripple on a case that's or how long we haven't heard from Ripple in a case here it's rather time sensitive. So you think, okay, there's nothing new from him, and even though even if we're not going to see the specifics now, there's nothing new there, and we're not seeing really anything from Ripple with something that's time sensitive. So that's why Jeremy Hogan went to speculate. Okay, what else could it be but settlement, right? And so attorney James Filan doesn't feel the same way. And again, I love diversity of thought. I don't know who's right. I don't pretend to, but I'm just going to do my Moon Lambo thing and report on what the lawyers are saying, and you guys can think of it what you will. But here's what James said. XRP community, SEC versus Ripple. Everything I say here is speculation, but based on my experience, I have a different take on what is happening in this case. I don't think that anyone should expect a settlement anytime soon. The government is not giving up, and based on everything I've read, Ripple will not give in. I do think that the Hinman deposition went forward. I don't think Ripple would forfeit that opportunity. Ripple said Hinman has unique first-hand knowledge about the SEC's communications with third parties and about the agency's adoption or approval of his well-publicized speech in 2018 about the regulatory treatments of cryptocurrencies. And let me pause right there. And I gotta admit, I was kind of wondering this, and I still don't know exactly what to expect, but it would be weird to give up the opportunity to have Hinman under oath. But that's also why, though, Jeremy Hogan's speculating that this thing is pretty well buttoned up. But it's not, even Jeremy Hogan said, though, it's not technically buttoned up, because even if the SEC and Ripple agreed, he stated that the SEC commissioners would have to approve this. And so if I'm Ripple, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is great settlement. We verbally agreed to it. But until the SEC commissioners approve this thing, I'm still going guns blazing. And so I got a bit. Maybe there's a good reason for that, but to me, to me it doesn't compute. I don't know what the rationale for that would be. Anyway, James continues. If they can find out specifically who he spoke with, Hinman, that is, of course, and what was said, the information that Mr. Hinman can himself provide, Ripple can learn information about what the SEC said to market participants that is crucial to Howey, the aiding and abetting charge, and the fair notice defense. And so this is an incredibly important defense, which really does have legal every attorney that I'm seeing speak about this agrees the fair notice defense is a very serious defense, and it's the idea that Ripple's been conducting their business in broad daylight, completely transparent for the better part of a decade, and they didn't have sufficient notice from the SEC, that the SEC had a policy in place. They believed that the sale of XRP, the way they're doing it, that it was actually a security. They didn't have sufficient notice. A person of regular intelligence would never know that's what the SEC believed. And so if there isn't fair notice, the SEC loses. That's just how it works. And then James continues. My take is that Ripple got names of who Hinman and others talked to and what was said, and now Ripple is out there interviewing those people. I also understand that people are mad about the SEC's actions and inactions after all this time, but in my opinion, this case really isn't about punishing the SEC or anyone else. When a party focuses on hurting the other side, they lose focus on winning for themselves. This case is about winning and making the whole crypto space succeed. If the SEC or anyone else gets hurt in the process, they brought it on themselves, but that's not the goal. Yeah, and we'll see. I don't look, actually, it's funny enough. The SEC has acknowledged this. If Ripple actually outright won, the SEC has acknowledged that it would be harmful to them. They've actually brought this up in the court. And I can't remember if it was specifically in response to the fair notice defense. That fact evades me at this particular moment, but I know they did. I've read that. And I remember sitting there thinking, yeah, well, you brought this on yourselves. Like, you really did. You're the ones that didn't have a great case and started going after Ripple, claiming they did stuff that they didn't do. Or at a minimum, some of the facts were technically accurate. Well, there are a lot of inaccuracies, but some of the facts, even if accurate, it's like, how are we supposed to know that was bad from your perception? And then he wrapped up by stating, the goal is to clean this mess up and move forward, so I don't think a settlement is coming anytime soon. This is a war. I think we should settle in for the long haul. And so I don't know who's right. I hope Jeremy Hogan's right, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised if James would prefer that to be the outcome. I don't know for sure. But either way, regardless, I really very genuinely appreciate a diversity of thought here, especially from legal professionals, because I don't have a background of any kind. And so I love covering the case because, I mean, my channel is all about what's happening with Ripple and XRP and crypto in general, and I find it highly fascinating just like you do. But I can't on this topic, since I don't have a legal background, I can't provide the same insight as people like James Filan or Jeremy Hogan, John Deaton. And so they're out there killing it, but I love propping them up and saying, hey, here's what they're saying. It's very valuable. Clearly, the XRP community greatly appreciates all of them. So let me know what you think below. I would love to hear from my fellow XRP community members. Do you think it's more likely than not the case that the SEC will soon, imminently, settle with Ripple? My personal answer is I've not a clue. I want it to be the case. I would love for this to be finished. I don't know. I'll wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.